Go live, right? Press it.
Or avocado.
Should press it now?
Mhm. Told you to press it ages ago.
Yeah, it's a bit late now. Okay.
It is.
Good evening, everybody,
Good evening.
and welcome to Chinwag number 235, I suppose.
We're just following on
yeah.
from where we left off.
Yeah. Welcome to the live chat. I should do the thing. Hi, welcome to Only Cool Stuff. My name is Zaheer. This is Rebecca. And this channel, it's all about our high street toy and pop culture store, as well as our exploits reselling on eBay. What do you think?
See, Zaheer knows it so well.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. But yeah, like, I don't... Yeah, this is the live stream.
Good evening.
Good evening, yeah. So, yeah, we thought we did one of these last week. And we thought, yeah, let's do another one. You know, we'll see whether we can build the momentum back up to doing weekly. This is 2 weeks in a row.
Did it catch all of that?
Should we say a few hellos then? There's a couple of people in the chat already. We've got Bum Crack Picker, thank you BCP. Tommy has popped in, Tommy Bernard of the Tommy Bernard podcast, of which I've not seen any new episodes recently. I'm just pointing that out, but thank you for popping in, Tommy. This is written a letter to London and expressed my desire for Zaheer to be the new prime. Yeah, we're not going to get into the old politics.
Yeah.
Rich by name, not by nature. Although saying that, I did actually speak to a local reporter came into the shop and asked me my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I did repeat the Vince Cable. He's a Poundland Trump, because I think that's just perfect.
Yeah.
So hi to Rich by name, not by nature. Hi to Peter Alexander. Mandy, she's always flipping. Mandy, thank you for popping in. Good to see you again. The Legend says, glad to see you back doing these weekly. Well, glad that you've come back to watch them.
Yeah.
I'm really pleased about that. Antoinette Daly, how are you? Thank you for popping in. Should have listened to Beck and pressed it ages ago, yeah. Evening Barry and Evening Stew and Jean as well. Thank you for popping in, Jean Pawson as well. Yeah, so we're going to chat about... Stop fidgeting.
Yeah.
Jeez, man.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry, because you're making out like I have a go at you about fidget. Just, no, leave it. Because you're going to just put it there. Stop fidgeting. It's so, like, just fidgety. You should, you know.
I had one of those
spinner things earlier. Fidget spinners, yeah. So yeah, a lot has been going on recently with work and all that jazz. So we thought we'd just fill you in really on how our week has gone. As you can see from the title, we're going to talk about doing our 15 listings a day and our amazing customers. That is the kind of plan, the rough plan.
Roughly.
Roughly, yeah.
A little outline.
We'll see how it goes, you know. We'll see how it turns out.
Yeah.
You know, we'll see just, you know, where the chat takes it. We're still feeling a bit rusty with all this.
We're feeling really rusty. We've got to be completely honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why'd you say that, though? Like,
No, because it does feel weird sitting back here and chatting.
It feels weird. It's one of those things. And Fix It for Reselling has also popped in, and Michelle Lathan. The Legend says, by the way, your hair looks lovely today, Beck.
Oh, thank you. Do you know what, right? I actually, curled it, didn't I, this morning? And it's actually all dropped out.
All the curls have dropped out.
It just does. But it still kind of stays a little bit wavy.
Yeah,
okay.
I think you need to... Barry says, lower the camera or higher Beck's chair. She's barely in the shot.
Oh, I'll sit up. How about that?
She's slouching.
I'm slouching.
And stuff. Yeah.
It's because I'm in my comfy chair.
Yeah,
this is my
craft
sit up
chair.
Properly. I love sitting in this. And it leans back as well.
Yeah, but she does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So far this.
I'll sit up. There we go.
So, like I said, we're setting stuff up.
This is going well.
We don't even have a tripod for the camera to adjust it like we used to. Yeah, that's probably part of the problem.
Do you not?
Wait, it's in the car. It's in my rucksack. And I got some amazing pickups, but they're also in the car. So can't show you those either.
Yeah.
Well,
we didn't get round to them last week, but did we share them? No,
I don't
didn't.
think we did.
We had some pickups last week, and because they were at the shop, we were just like, oh, let's just photograph them, and we'll show them on stream when they're photographed. We didn't get round to that bit because we had talked too much.
Pretty much,
so,
yeah. But we'll see. We'll see whether we can kind of, you know, like make it So we're not going to be able to share that, but we'll just see how it turns out. Evening John YLM. Feels like ages since I watched one of these lives. Last time I watched one, I was still in my 40s, says Stu. Did Stu recently have a birthday? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
He might have done. Who knows? I've
Maybe.
got a feeling I see something about it on, when Facebook tells you things and you're like, oh God, why are you telling me things? Not that I don't care about your birthday, but, just, I think that's what happened. I'm not sure. Okay. Right. What do we talk about now? The week?
I don't know. We were talking about the week. So this week it's been like, what I thought it's gone quite well. It's been quite productive.
Yeah.
In general.
We've been trying to list 15 items a day, and to also have like a draft bank. So our aim is, no matter how hard we work or how much we list, our aim is to make 15 things go live every day, and then build up at the same time some kind of a draft bank, so that when we're not there, or when it's like the weekend, or if we don't get to list or anything, we've got a little bit of dry skin there.
Yeah, it's a spot, man.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I just noticed it.
Thanks, hon.
No, you can't.
Thanks.
Is it? I thought it was just a bit of...
No, thank you for that.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
No,
so
I
much.
just noticed. I was thinking where I could get it for you.
I'm so glad to be back.
No, don't worry. No.
I'm really, really glad. really
It's
glad.
working really well. Just hi to the Dave. Run out to your car and get the pickup, says Barry. Oh, I don't know if we could. We'll see
Have
how
you
it
got
goes.
all of them though?
I've got some, but some of them are heavy, man.
Yeah, some of them are quite heavy.
The Dave Monkey Thrifter also pops in. Right, so let's talk about the week.
That's what I was doing.
Yeah. And so we've been listing every day, haven't we? And we've been trying to build up a draft bank for us.
Yeah.
So how do you think that has worked out so far?
I think it's gone really well. I mean, the only thing I will say is by having 15 listings go live, we're always going to have to make sure that we're listing more than 15 items a day if we want to build up like the draft bank, as you call it.
Yeah.
I just call them drafts.
Just drafts. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we I think I'd like to have like a week's worth.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know why, but
it's going to take a while because even with our day off this Wednesday, because we did take a day off, we still had 15 listings going live, but then neither of us were listing on that day, which is a bit of an issue, obviously, because then we're not like building.
But that's the whole point of it, is because like something might happen. You might just have like a day where you're not able to do like a whole bunch of work for whatever reason. You might, whatever could happen, and then you want to still be able to make some listings go live. And I think, like, we'll be honest, we kind of like picked 15 as like an arbitrary number. I picked 15 just because.
I'm just saying,
Well, you went along with it.
I went along with it.
So so we went with 15, and like we're finding that we thought we had a lot of stock as well, and I think this is something that not has caught us out, but something that's made us like think, oh, we didn't have as much as we thought.
Well, I think you probably had enough thinking that you had enough for yourself doing that amount of work, but when we've got two of us, like on
because you weren't there though last week, so
on Tuesday, I drafted 15, you drafted 15, so we'd done a total of like 30 between us, and then we realised that when we are both listing, we're getting through the work quickly, aren't we?
So we need to now make sure we get more stuff come in, because otherwise we're going to get to the stage where we're going to keep listing 15 a day by hook or crook, and then we're going to get to a stage where we're going to run out of stuff to list. So we kind of need to make sure we have a good weekend at the car boots. Hopefully we will, because the weather forecast is looking...
It's looking good
It's looking really good for the weekend. So hopefully we're actually going to get like a first super busy weekend of car booting, Saturday and Sunday. So I will kind of like... it just makes you realize though that like you said, mostly like I thought I had like a whole bunch of stuff to list, but we've gone through it quite easily. Bearing in mind we've been, you know, at the same time being in the shop where you do get interruptions. You know, some days more than others. Like today turned out to be quite busy in the afternoon, didn't it? Like
it really picked up in the afternoon today. I mean, it started off great. I don't know whether the weather had anything to play with it, but then from I don't know,
like lunchtime, I think about midday, 1 o'clock ish. Yeah.
It was quite steady. Sorry, there's a pigeon on the roof.
Yeah, Alf's seen a pigeon on the roof, so he's got... Yeah. So, yeah, it worked out quite... Alf, stop it. Alf. So, yeah, we're going to have to just let Alf do his thing. Alf, can you go to bed? Go to bed. He's such a schmuck, man, honestly.
He's fine. He's fine.
Yeah.
He just needs to chill a little bit. You know?
There's
a pigeon on his roof, man.
There's a pigeon on his roof. So, yeah, we need to keep going with the pickups. I mean, we did really well last weekend. As some of you guys may have seen on the last video, we got like a really amazing haul of N64 stuff. But that on its own, it's got good value to it. But again, it's only a handful of listings.
Yeah.
It's not really a lot. Like, yeah, of course, you got the console, you got a few games, and that's it. And that's it. That's listed and done.
It's more like collections and job lots that we've got to kind of look at that we can break down a little bit.
That are worth selling. Yeah. And the thing is, we also benefit from, we prefer like the little job lots a bit because we do quite well in the shop with stuff like that. You know,
Alfie.
Yeah, Alf's freaking out a bit. So it's one of those things where that you know, we're going to kind of end up... What was I going to say? We're going to end up... Alf is really frustrating me. Yeah, we when we get some certain job lots, there's certain stuff that we sometimes that otherwise we may not have picked, that we might not pick up, but we pick up because it's good for the shop.
Yeah.
Whereas we wouldn't necessarily pick it up for eBay, and those are kind of sticky, like those are weird items because we then decide whether it's worth putting those on eBay. And you've had a few items where you're like, actually, I'm not going to bother putting this on eBay.
So there's certain things like I don't know if you've shown in a recent vlog that, like, we do have a pre-owned section in our shop, and it's only like a small section, but we try and keep it to like figures, some, you know, whether like they're like the newer like wrestlers and things like that, that we pick up in job lots that kind of aren't worth sticking on eBay but are worth it in the shop, because when we can price it at like £3 to £4, you know, parents come in and they see that and they're like, oh yeah, that's great, I don't really want to spend £20 on a figure, I'll, you know, pay like the
£4 or whatever,
£4 that we've got for like certain figures. And then we've got a little bit of Lego, haven't we, like that we picked up, so that's quite pretty cool. And there's other bits and pieces that we have as well.
My Little Ponies, My Little Pony and things like that. Those die-cast cars are doing well in the shop at £5 each. Yeah,
and we had like a tub of Hot Wheels that's been going like
that's just
really,
almost
really
gone
well.
Basically.
So yeah, I think there's only like 6 cars in that now. Yeah,
so we kind of like when we're picking up job lots, we have that kind of thing as well, where even though we might well be sourcing, we might end up having that stuff just in the shop, and then we're not necessarily we're not necessarily going to be kind of going and adding to our eBay. And plus, just because we're listing 15 items a day, we don't want to just list 15 items a day for the sake of listing 15 items a day. We do want to keep some kind of like decency-ish about them.
We do want to keep a...
And I'll be honest, we've kind of broken that a little this week. We have listed a few lower level items, but some of them have sold as well. So it's just not high value, but it's still sales, I suppose. That's the way to look at it. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. Let's go in and say another hi. I can see that Dave says hello to all as going to be driving and listening. Kathy has popped in as well. Hi Kathy, thank you for popping in. Mandy says, you copying me Z, 15 a day and 1 week draft bank, ready to go always. Mandy, I won't lie, your number of 15 did stick in my head 100% because Mandy always lists 15 there. And you only have a 1 week draft bank. That's interesting because that could be more manageable. But that is still a lot, isn't it? 15,
Yeah, still a lot.
15 times by 7. What is that?
I don't know.
I don't know. Let's do some maths. 7 times by 15. 105 listings in draft. Yeah. That's tough. I think the highest we made it this week was in the 50s, I think, or 60s. I'm not sure. But yeah, we need to really push that, and we've noticed such a nice little difference. Like even on the days where we've not really had like a lot of high value sales, the number of sales is now becoming more consistent per day. Like we're getting like a much more consistent like number of sales. So the values depending on what sells, but the number of listings that's always a good indicator. So we really want to work on that. So that's like one thing we've been pushing, and you know, as well as obviously like I said, like doing the shop, trying to promote the website. There's a fair amount, isn't there?
It's quite a lot.
Yeah. And also like obviously Beck only found out about her losing her job last Thursday, and we've been thinking about that obviously this week as well, and you know like you guys said last week, I think like you've had a proper kind of think about it. You've recovered from the shock of being let go, as it were. Yeah. And elaborate.
What?
We're meant to elaborate and talk.
Well, you were chatting. So we've been talking about it, and you know the reason why we took this decision for me to work was like it wasn't the right time for me to come away, and. It still stands. I still feel like a job in some shape or form is still something that we still need to kind of address because it's so important. Just down to like, you know, just a day-to-day kind of thing that we need, I think.
Yeah.
Personally.
I think so. It's so yeah. Did you just say something like? You said something and I zoned out for a bit. Did you just... What did you say?
See, you don't listen to me either.
No, go on.
We both just sit here and just don't listen to... No, I was just saying, like the job is something that we need day to day. Like, it's not something that I think we should be ruling out.
Yeah. So you are going to be looking... Beck is going to be looking, basically, for something. Maybe not full-time, though. I think we're going to be looking more part-time.
Definitely something more part-time because I don't want to feel away from the business as well, and this is the problem. Every time I go into work I end up doing like full-time, and then that's what frustrates me because then I'm like
away from
so
the shop.
far away from the business. I don't even feel like I can be involved in it, and I just want something where I can kind of, you know, work and go to work, just get the job done. Like I'm really not bothered about what it is, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
But then when I come away from work, that I can still like concentrate on like the business and like have an input in the business in that sense. So I think that's the way I'm going to be looking at it.
I think that makes a lot of sense. You know, I think that's like it's just nothing's changed massively within that week of
I mean that's
the
thing. Like, you know, we took the decision like how long ago? What, 8 weeks ago? 9? No, it was longer than that. About 10 odd weeks ago that it was the right thing to look for work for me, and it was just nothing has changed in those 10 weeks
to make it
any different.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, that's one of the things that's definitely going to happen. And I think it makes us feel a bit more comfortable.
Yeah, I don't like the stress.
Yeah.
I've said this all along. Like, really don't like the stress. Like, as soon as I lost my job, like, the stress came back instantly. And I can't stand it. Absolutely can't stand it. And I think, you know, having the comfort of having, like, an income that's separate from the shop and separate from eBay, it kind of, it makes me feel comfortable. It makes me, like... I
think it's whilst we're building things up. I think a lot we keep on changing things. As you guys know, we always like push things. Like if we just solely focused on eBay I think all this time, we'd probably be a lot more further on. But obviously, since changing, not only have we added the shop, but it's also changed. We've changed what we were doing. Like those of you that have been with us for like the longest time will remember how heavily we were into RC parts at one point. Like we had a huge store, literally dedicated, devoted to just radio control car parts, and we did that for a good 3 years, I think, and that was
Yeah, about
consistent. And then most people, smart people, would have probably just let that carry on. But
Yeah.
but you got to remember, you're talking about us here, and we decided at the time it felt right to change things, and sometimes you have to change things, and just because for your own health, your
Yeah.
own. And obviously that's made things rocky. It's like going into completely new niches, generalizing. We had 2 stores at one point, gone back to one, so we've done a lot of kind of like changes, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
and like with the separating the stores and stuff like that.
That's
It
something
is
that's on the
something-
card again.
Yeah, it is something me and Zaheer have both spoken about, and it is something that I do want to kind of look at a little
Yeah,
bit more closely.
Because the majority of our store is like toy and pop culture
Yeah.
stuff now, and when we throw in these other items, it might just be cleaner to just
Yeah.
have a general store and then a pop culture store, like we did when we did the RC stuff. It worked really well for us when we had a radio control parts store. We didn't want to confuse our customers, or it was just cleaner, and I think it helped
I think
repeat
with
customers.
The RC
Yeah.
store, it was
Yeah, it
much
made
more
sense,
obvious
yeah.
because we noticed we were getting repeat
Yeah.
customers on that stuff, and like coming to a store and seeing like a mix of everything and then RC, it just made complete and utter sense to kind of separate the two.
Yeah.
Because it was just like it's just too confusing.
Yeah.
I'll get there with the words. And I think it's something that we both feel that it's,
Yeah.
even though our store has changed so much
Yeah.
since doing the RC,
And then-
I kind of feel like I do want to separate the...
We will get back to it,
stuff
and we
again.
also need to just build up our inventory. Like right now, we've only just gotten over about 400 listings.
Yeah.
So obviously that's just not enough in its own. Like our conversion is pretty good. I think we're like 1.1% conversion rate, which is not bad. But we need to keep building. Do you know what I mean? Like we need to keep building that, and then keeping the quality items going, and obviously just a lot of things basically.
Yeah,
a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. Yeah, I
It's
don't know.
right behind
Is
my
it right
chair.
behind you?
Yeah.
We'll go in and the reseller kid is in the chat. Hi there. He says, I've only ever had one N64. Got it for myself from the car boot for £20 with Mario Kart. That is not bad at all. That is a nice pickup.
No, it's nice.
I'm obviously really pleased with the pickup we got. I think I've actually picked up a few N64s, but over the years, isn't it? It's like, yeah. Michelle Lathan, if I haven't already said hi, I'm sure I have. Well, let's see what else the chat is saying. Mandy says, T Cakes, hi T Cakes, and says, nice score in the computer games. It just takes one car, very true. And the reseller kid says, Z, are you not boiling hot with that jacket on? It's more of a hoodie.
Yeah.
And I probably am a bit warm, but I
Yeah.
feel comfortable in the hoodie, if that makes sense. 105 listings a week. Yeah, Mandy says 1,500 store. Can't really store much more in my tiny little home. See, that you have to just adapt it, don't you? Because we have to think about that as well.
We have to think about space because
Yeah.
obviously we want to stock the shop.
Mhm.
So we're kind of like, we've got to make sure that eBay doesn't take over too much in the shop either, because we don't want that stuff home. We want it all like from one place.
Yeah.
So so we do have to think about space as well.
Yeah, exactly. T-Keck says, picked up clips, I think it's clips, is it? NVA cubes, QB plus speakers from one car, Beresford preamp, Technics, A400 amp, madness never happens, but you got to be there to grab them, didn't make the table. Yeah, that's a good point, T-Cakes. I made a video, for those of you that don't know, just to reiterate, anyone that's joined us, we picked up a bonkers N64 games console bundle last weekend, and it had some really amazing games, the highlight of which was like Mario Party 3, which is like probably in its condition I'd say 200 to 250 pounds, because it's not in the perfect, it's not perfect condition, and like in the video I made, I kind of talked about how, not saying like it wasn't like tooting my own horn as it were, but I was actually talking about how when I go to the car boot, I see, you know, when you go to the same car boot for long enough, you start seeing familiar faces, and you see certain faces that always seem to be like just one step ahead of you, and you see them consistently being one step ahead of you, and you see them consistently finding things that you wish you had gone, or like, you know, you think like, oh, I would have had that, but they're always there. And like you see this consistently enough, and also, you know, you can look at yourself, and I look at even myself, so kind of, yeah, I will toot my own horn, I suppose, but like over the past few years, I can safely say that I consistently can go to a car boot and pick up decent items. And when something happens that consistently, you kind of have to look into it. Like anything else, it's not always just pure luck, because I think sometimes there is this idea that with the car boot sales, with charity shopping, etc., it's just pure luck. And luck is obviously involved in everything, but I was just making a point, that, you know, sometimes I think you know, it's that saying, the harder I work, the luckier I seem to get. And the more you're up at 5 a.m. or the more you're the first person at a car, the more times you put yourself first in front of a car as it's unloading or whatever, then the probabilities of you being first at picking stuff up is going to also go up, just by you being there first, right?
Yeah.
So and being first isn't a matter of luck, it's a matter of obviously timing and you know, being prepared, being ready, like just even little things like understanding what your car boot is like. So one of the things I mentioned was, depending on how your car boot sets things up, like if your car boot is a setup where they allow the sellers to buy first and then the buyers go in, you're going to be at a disadvantage, because there are going to be people that buy, other sellers that will go there to set up a stall. Literally, I've seen people do this loads of times. They've got no intention of really selling anything. They will buy a pitch just to get in early before the other buyers, just so they can clear up. We've all seen it, and that is not luck. That is them being smart and doing a smart thing at that kind of car boot. Now, luckily, the car boot we like to go to is a free-for-all where everyone goes on the field at once.
We can all be on the same field.
So it's a much more fairer situation. But even in that fairer situation, it's determination that's going to get you there. You often hear, like, especially when people talk about jumble cells, you hear about sharp elbows, don't you? And that's just determination, isn't it? That's, you know, like, none of us like it when we hear people going around going, got any Lego, got any jewelry? But at the end of the day, if that works, then really that's what we should all be doing. If you, depending on how serious you are about finding the really good stuff, you can find stuff no matter what time you turn up at a car boot, but are you going to find the really good stuff? I mean, in my experience, all the really good stuff I found over the past few years has always been, like Tea Cake said, doesn't even hit the table. It goes straight from the boot into people's hands and their bags. And it's not aggressive. It's not like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's the other misconception people have about people that, like, you know, boot raid is, you've got to be kind of really pleasant and amiable or something. I don't know. You can't, if you're obnoxious and you're like, oh, let me have a look at that or something, you're more likely to get like a response by the seller saying, no, actually back up. But if you're like nice and you're like helpful or something, that's when people are willing to let you get first dibs and look at stuff. So just something. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, is that what you've got to say on that?
Yeah.
Do you want to add anything?
No, I do think it's your approach. I mean, there are some sellers that would prefer you to kind of leave them to set up their store before, and they do make it known really quickly. And then there's other sellers that are like, yeah, I don't want to go home with this, so yeah, of course you can have a look.
And what's your like opinion on like the whole boot raiding thing? Like people call. Well, I mean, there's not always.
Yeah, I don't.
It's necessary, really, don't you think? Or?
Yeah,
it depends.
I mean, I suppose it depends on what you're looking at, really. You do see it quite a lot.
If you want the really high value stuff, like if you want the really good stuff, like any of the big pickups I can think of that we've had over the past like few years, any of like the the ones that really stick out, like the £300 Tamiya or like the massive amp or whatever, none of that stuff makes it
it doesn't
like
make it
the
to the
Dreamcast
table,
bundles or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't, does it? It's just straight, like, isn't it? It's like that. I think that's all I'm saying, really. The stuff that you buy that does make it out, I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean,
Some people keep things back, don't they?
yeah, exactly.
Some sellers do.
Yeah, but yeah, I like that point though, TKX, because it kind of Bless Bex, she's a legend, says Mandy. She is a legend. Bless her. And she made a really spicy con carne as well. Yeah, really spicy
tonight.
just now. Yeah. Mandy says, what year did you start YouTube? I started watching in 2015. Yeah, it was around 2014, I think, Mandy. 2014, 2015. I mean, I was doing it before then, but not the reselling stuff.
Yeah, not the reselling stuff.
Yeah. Don't ever put yourself down for caring about your own health, says Kathy. No, yeah, we're not putting ourselves down. Monkey's River says, picked up an electric toy today. Bad battery leakage, so needs to replace. What do they call the battery connectors? Oh gosh, okay. Mandy says, it's just finding the right balance for yourself at the end of the day. I did get up to almost 3,000 listings, never up my daily sales, but house was a tip, couldn't cope. Yeah, I think that's I think that's a good point, really. That's a good point.
I think after the RC stuff, we had that here for like so long. I could not cope with it being in the house any longer after that haul, and I was just like, I really, really wanted it out.
Yeah.
As in, I was just like, we need to get this out. I mean,
and I think since then we've been like that.
And the thing is, you got to remember, if you watched us back then, the amount of space it took up. It was in the living room. It was in here in the conservatory. It was like, it felt like it was everywhere. And then we even had because we were still doing like the general store, we even had like clothes and shoes and stuff like that stored in our daughter's bedroom as well. Yeah. Because it was just everywhere. Yeah. It had to go.
Lee Fix It for Reason says they're the ones with their asses hanging out the boot. Night's Life, thanks for popping in, Richard. It's a bit of luck as well, says Lee. I walked onto a different road just as a guy put a boxed Revitive on the table for £10, no one else around. Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, again, but it's timing, isn't it? Like, you were there, you put yourself in the situation. Hi, Rich by name, not by nature. Vic Burns says, where are all the plants that should be in that lovely room? We need to look up. This is one of the things. We need to decorate the house, really. Yeah.
We really, really desperately need to decorate this room.
Since we moved, this is the thing.
Nothing's really happened in this room.
When we moved up here, this room has always been our stock room. Has always, for years and years and years and years. And it's only since really the shop and the office, some of you guys remember went to the office, that's when we got the taste of having it out of the house. Yeah. And now it's out of the house, but we've just not had the time to do this place up. We really want to do this room up nicely, get some nice furniture, and can imagine like a nice summer with you're right, plants and everything. That's something we want to do, Vic, and it's one of the reasons why also the job is. It would be nice because it just gives us that extra money to do things. Yeah. So, but yeah,
and
it
have
all
a bit
comes
of
in.
Fun as
have
well.
a bit of fun. That's it.
We need to have some fun.
Yeah. I still find that type of attitude intimidating, says Kathy, from a car boot seller point of view. Kathy, 100%.
Yeah,
I think you've got to be really careful with this because you've got to be able to read people and
I would say that.
You pick and choose where you've got to ask. I agree. People that don't say a word to the seller and don't even acknowledge with a good morning or would you mind if I just took a look at that in the back? If you don't do that and you just go straight and walk over with other people that have also just walked over, that would be very intimidating. It's also rude. I think that is definitely not
I mean, we've done car boots ourselves from a selling point of view.
Yeah.
And there's normally 2 of us.
Yeah.
So normally what's happening is while I'm setting up, Zaheer will be dealing with people that are wanting to look in the boot. And
like,
to be
I'm
fair,
okay with,
you normally let it happen. That's
I'm
why
happy,
Zaheer
'cause
kind
when
of
I go,
takes...
I like to go to
that's why you kind of take that kind of stance, whereas I think I would find it really, really overwhelming if I had people around the boot while I was trying to set up. And
But
say
again,
if I was on my own as well.
But can I just say again, that's again, what we're talking about here is actually, you might not recognize it as such, but it's kind of a skill. It's knowing, you know when people say like pick your battles, right? Pick your. It's knowing where that works and where it doesn't work. Because you're right. Even if you did go up to some sellers and you some big burly guy walks up and goes, "All right, love, can I have a look at your boot or something?" And she's like a 4-foot woman or something. She might feel forced into allowing that, and it's still not comfortable, and that would still be wrong. So you've got to be really, you do really need to be aware of the situation and try to judge things properly. Like, for example, if we go back to this last weekend's Nintendo thing, we had a lovely rapport with the seller.
Yeah.
The seller was like completely happy and literally like handed me from her boot into my hands. Like that was the transaction straight done. Completely different situation. But again, you've got to have created that situation. So I had that Nintendo sold before it wasn't even visible. It was literally because I heard her mention the word Nintendo to a fellow stall, and I just inquired cheekily, like, oh, my ears perked up because I heard the magic N, like Nintendo word or whatever, and it just grew from there.
Yeah.
I was going to say I heard the magic N word, and I thought that's not what I meant.
I'm glad you stopped at that point, actually.
Like I heard like magic word and built up like a quick rapport, and so I hadn't even seen what this was, but it was mine already, even though I hadn't seen it because I had the rapport. It was dealt with. So that's what I'm talking about. That is in itself like a communication skill, that is like literally what it is, and not everyone has that and not everyone does that. So but you do have to kind of at Norcross, the regulars used to jump into sellers' cars as they're going in, probably paid them for their stall fee to get in early. Norcross, I like Norcross as a car boot, if I'm honest. I really like it. Well. You definitely make your own luck, good or bad. I go to 3 free-for-alls a week, always get the best things there. Exactly, because a free-for-all, it's exactly that. So everyone is on the field at the same time, best chances, but there you go. Boot flies are rude, IMO, says Kathy. You know what, Kathy? People do experience rude people, but I do feel there are people that do it in the correct way. There's always a right way and a wrong way of doing things, and I kind of feel like you can do it in the right way, where you can kind of, and you can tell there's technique. It's about demeanor. I mean, if some of you guys in the chat might have watched James Collects, he's got a great YouTube channel. And when he does his car boot videos, and Ricky as well, Ricky Richards, like you can see, like James is often first at a car, and he's often helping people take their stuff out of their boot on the table, not without asking them. However, obviously he communicates with them, and 9 times out of 10 when you see on the camera, the sellers are more than happy to let him take the stuff and have a look at it, and it gives him a unique advantage over other sellers that don't have that ability to, or the confidence perhaps, to just go up to someone and actually say, hey, I can have a look at that. Should I take that out and put that on the table for you? You like, and there is something to that. But obviously they don't do it now as it's £5 for the entry. Depends on the seller, but happy to get in there. All the best stuff is straight out of the back of the car. I really don't think you need to boot race a secret carpet, but I can see why. I just can't do it myself. Again, you've got to do, what's right for you. 100%.
I don't get involved in it.
No, honest, the great example, really chalk and cheese hair, isn't it? Like, you would never do that.
I mean, I don't.
And she doesn't even haggle.
This is really bad, but I don't even haggle. Yeah, right? If someone tells me a price, I'm like...
She pays the price. If she likes the price, she'll buy it,
if I like the price, I'll buy it.
But if she doesn't like the price, she won't actually ask.
No.
How many? I've actually haggled for you.
You have. Like, I've seen
You've
something, liked it, and gone, oh, how much? And then someone goes, and then you go, oh, will you take this for?
That's it. And you're like cringing.
And I'm like, oh.
But that's,
But that's just like me.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm really, really rubbish at haggling. Really rubbish. I'll just pay what the price is if I'm happy to pay it.
Mandy says, I lived 8, breathed, slept, eBay back then. Now 9 till 3, Monday to Friday, job done. I think that's the other benefit of having a draft bank, isn't it, Mandy? Like, you've got a target in your head that you want 15 items listed and you need 105 items in your draft bank, and that's your target, and you can work within the time frame for it. And that's what we really want to do, especially with the shop. It takes up enough of our time, doesn't it? So we're kind of like, you know, we want to come home and chill out and whatnot as well. So I definitely can appreciate that. Mandy, and you're probably running a better show as well. Yeah, Mandy honestly is doing amazing. Saying no to a stranger can be difficult, especially at 6 a.m. We're not talking about hardened dealers here, but people just trying to make a few quid from a clear out.
I completely agree with you there, because when I'm on the stall on my own, like, if someone comes up and goes, and they haggle with me, right? I'm quite often, if I say like, oh, that's £2, and they go, oh, will you take £1 for it? And I'm like, yeah, all right then. Right? So my first answer is yes.
Yeah.
Okay. But I have, like, with doing the toy fairs, I'm a lot better at sticking to my prices.
But toy fairs are much more...
But it's different, though.
Toy fairs are very different to car boots. Toy fairs are much more polite, and oftentimes the price on the product
they say,
is the price. Yeah.
Is that your best price?
Yeah.
And then, like, I mean, some of the dealers, they will give a price and they'll come over. But then, like, it's different when they're approaching a store as a dealer.
The average toy fair customer understands that the prices for things they're going to see, they're going to often see new in box latest toys, they'll pay.
And it's different.
Car boot is very different, so I can completely appreciate what you're saying there, Kathy. Like, in the morning, you know, when you're just having the clear out, you do a car boot once or twice a year, maybe, if that, and you get completely swarmed by like people like me or something. You don't want that. I can understand, but like, what you can do is to kind of, as a buyer, or as a you know, someone looking to buy from someone, you've obviously got to pull your side of the bargain and be polite, be respectful, but I can understand that it doesn't always happen, and I think you've got to balance that with your needs as well. You know, like how much of your stock comes from the car boot. If a lot of your stock comes from the car boot, then you kind of have to go out and make sure you get as much stuff as you can, and but you can still do it a respectful way. I don't feel like you ever need to be. I don't ever feel like you need to be too aggressive and too. I think that's always. I wouldn't feel happy to have gotten a deal by beating someone down. You know, kind of like, you know, when people haggle. And there's two types of haggling. Like, you can just ask someone.
There's a funny one, actually.
Oh, go on.
Do you remember, like the picture? You picked up a picture. Yeah. And it was a really, really cheap price, right? Yeah. Really, really cheap, right? And it ended up being quite funny, right? But I can't remember the price that she said. It was so cheap, and Zaheer's automatic reaction was like, will you take £2 for this or something like that, right? And or was it that she had two and you wanted to? Yeah, I can't remember. But anyway, and I was just like, I looked at him and I went, and then she looked at me and I went, it's a pretty good price.
It was really cheap, so I ended up haggling myself back up.
You were like, yeah, I'm really sorry.
Actually, yeah, that's actually happened. It was like a framed print or something.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was.
And
it was a
I ended
cheap
up
price
so
anyway.
I tried to haggle down.
Why are you haggling?
So I ended up haggling my way back up and said, sorry.
You're just like,
I'm just going to pay you.
I'm just going to pay you what you asked.
It's clearly worth it. So, yeah, I mean, You've got to, you've got to be that.
But
Again,
she was laughing at
she was
the end of that conversation.
But that's just it. It's how you have the conversations. Kind of like when the other thing when people haggle, like, so you can haggle in a nice way. So, for example, hey, will you take X for it? Like, could I be cheeky? Would you do it for this? It's like, with a little smile or something. Communicating with your eyes and your face and whatnot. Or the other way people haggle, which I think is like probably the wrong way of doing it, is the old looking at it going, oh, that's broken, that's missing, basically just trashing the item that you want to actually buy in order to get like the lower price. So that for me is like the incorrect way, because even if you want to point out a flaw, there's a nice way of doing it as well, isn't it? You could be like, it's like, oh, does it have this? Oh, it doesn't have the little bit. Oh, that's a shame, but it's still a great item, and you can still haggle from that point. But when people are like, oh, it's literally aggressively saying, well, it's not got this, it's not got that, it's not worth anything. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to offer you a lowball price or whatever. It's the way. It's always. It's not what you say, is it? It's how you say it. Isn't there that thing where that 90% of like in terms of getting your point across, it's not what you actually say, it's how you say it. It's all like body language and all that kind of stuff, isn't it? So I think that's pretty much what we're saying, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we've had a little chat about our week and a bit of car booting and stuff.
Yeah. Did we fully go? Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I just wanted to share with you, like, this week. I'm sorry that we didn't organize the chat. Really, we need to organize it more.
We do.
We're too rusty
do you know
to. We're too rusty.
We didn't sit down
wing
properly
it
today. And like.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to share with you 5 things that I've sold this week, in the past week, that are quite cool.
I think the first 2 we showed last week.
No, we didn't.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. None of that. 100%.
I thought we showed those.
Well, you're wrong. I think you're wrong.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for...
Yeah, it's right. It's right. If it... Beck doesn't haggle and her first answer is yes. Now we know how she ended up with Z, says Barry. Thanks, Barry. And BCP's still trying to get you to 500 subs. Kevin Rosen says hi. Yeah, no, you know what? I always find these quite interesting discussions. Yeah. I think they should be more. I think these should be more like regularly discussed. I think these are quite cool things to talk about. Sunny Las Vegas, thank you for popping in. I really appreciate it. Candor is key. Very true. Very true. All right, let me just quickly share with you guys some stuff that sold. Why not? Bam. All right. Tell me if we've shared this with you. But I don't think we did, because this sold at 8:04 on Friday after we finished the chat. I'm pretty sure this finished.
Oh, we wouldn't have shared them then.
Exactly.
Oh no, or did she pay? Because I thought they sold during the day and we were waiting for her to pay.
I don't think so. Well, anyway, this sold. Okay. Yeah, you know what? Today I didn't do the list.
We didn't, and it's really bad because, like, although we still.
It was almost like a test.
Had an okay day-ish. We didn't have a list today, and that was.
But luckily, our draft bank.
Yeah, we still did our listing.
But let's go do some quick sales. This was a pair of Doc Martens Solitaire shoes, size 8s. I actually got an offer on these for 75 quid, which is a bit of a bargain. Well, not a bargain, it's a bit of a great sale because I paid a £5 for these. And they actually went to someone that sells like DM laces and stuff, and Doc Martens themselves. So they must be fans of DMs. But yeah, those sold for 75 quid, so that was a nice little sale. Next item is another car boot pickup. This was a Bose. This is just actually the original one, so it's not even the most desirable. It's the original Series 1. So this one only works for the iPod with the 40-pin dock, and it doesn't have an auxiliary input. So the only other way you can use it is you can get these Bluetooth adapters for them, so you can play music through those. But it didn't have that, so I just sold it as is. Again, this was something I paid a £5 for, and we actually sold it for 30. So I'm pretty happy with that. That was a nice little flip. Then moving on, Game Boy Tribal. This sold for, I had it up for 50. I think someone used like a 5% off coupon, so they got it for like 47 something.
It was an odd amount. It was 47,
47 something. So that was a nice little sale. And then this was a nice little sale. Again, a nice cheap little pickup. And this sold, I think, as again like a £5 odd. This is a Denon CD receiver. Worked really well, even though it had like a little mark on the top, which is a shame. Came with a remote control and without speakers as well. It sold very quickly within a few days of listing. Really, this sold for 50 plus shipping as well. So that was a nice little sale. And finally, I want to just share this little sale. This is a Black Series Padme figure. I think I picked up a bunch of Star Wars figures from the car boot. It was me between £2 or £3. And this sold for £22 on eBay. And as you can see, it would have been worth more, but you can see the condition of it was pretty poor.
Yeah, it was in good condition.
Massive crease there. The blister, the bubble is a bit crusty looking. Yeah, it's just not in the best condition, but it's still new and sealed, as it were. So, nice little sales there. I just wanted to share those quickly with you. And then, we're now going to move on to the second part of our title, which was our lovely customers.
Oh, yeah.
Our amazing customers. Something awesome happened this week that, like, it doesn't happen very often, does it? No. We pride ourselves on, giving the best service that we can, etc. We always want to like be nice and cool, and it is always nice to see like it's appreciated, isn't it?
And with having like a small shop on the high street as well, it is important to kind of give good service because it is like
it's the only thing you got.
Yeah.
That's all you've got.
You have to chat.
Yeah.
To
you haven't got. You often haven't got. As a small shop nowadays, you haven't often got price on your side.
No.
You haven't got. You haven't got like the deep pockets to carry every item for every different thing. So there's a lot of things that don't work for your favor. What does work for your favor is actually having a physical place where people can come in and touch and look at things. But the other main thing is having you there. It's such an important thing, and it's good service. Like even today we had this guy come in, and he obviously had some like birthday money or something to spend, and he picked up like a little Warhammer keychain, and all I did was make a bit of small talk and pointed out another Warhammer action figure that we had that was actually a lot more money than just the keychain he was going to buy. Now he could have just walked out with the keychain. But in the end, he walked out with the keychain and an action figure, all because I pointed out to him and made a bit of bit of conversation, showed an interest really, and people appreciate that. People appreciate those little things, and if you do it right, sometimes your customers can really surprise you.
Yeah, and being in a small shop, it's just really awkward if you're just. A little bit quiet. I can be on the quiet side, but I do try and find like a way in when I'm in the shop. Like when I say a way in, like just to kind of
start the
get a conversation going. Like initially you'll say hello when someone walks in, and then some people come like right out and just be like, don't know what I'm looking at. It's for a gift. Can you help me? And so you start the conversation that way. Those are like the easy conversations. The ones that are a little bit difficult are the ones that walk in, say hello, and then this like they just want to be silent, or they just go, oh, I'm just looking, or something like that. And because we're in a small shop, it's really important to kind of talk to people that walk through the door. I know you're like really good at it.
You almost
I'm
like
so great.
in a small shop like ours, like
Otherwise, it's just a little bit awkward, isn't it? Because like you're both stood there in silence.
Well, the thing is, I think sometimes people will hear this, and this is something like you used to see in sales a lot, right? Was when a customer says to you, "I'm just looking," that doesn't. They're not saying don't talk to me. They're just saying I'm just looking. They're just letting you know I'm just looking. I might not be intending to buy it, but I'm just looking. That doesn't mean that they've told you to not speak to them. So even when someone says that to me, I'm like, it's fine, cool. We've still got plenty of stuff to look at. Check this out. It doesn't matter that they've said I'm just looking, because that's not, unless they specifically turn around and say I'm just looking. I just want to look in peace, or please don't talk to me.
Please don't talk to me.
Who's going to walk into your shop and tell you not to speak to them? Not many people are going to do that. And if they did do that,
you never know.
If someone came into the shop and said, I'm just looking, don't talk to me, I'd say, get the fuck out. At that point, I'd be like, you don't walk into my shop and then
Yeah.
tell. I'm not gonna accept that. That's just
But
rude.
anyway, we're kind
But-
of getting away from the topic.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, if someone comes in and says that,
Yeah.
it's still, you can still kind of speak
Yeah.
to them. But I think, like, sometimes it's taken, a lot of people take it as, oh, I'm just looking means don't leave me alone. It doesn't
Yeah.
mean leave me alone. It just means I'm looking. That's all it means. But it really helps. It really helps though, and like it can really like we have these customers. They only moved to the area a few months ago.
Only
I
a
think.
few months
Only
ago.
a few months ago.
Yeah.
And they've really grown to be like they were so positive about our shop.
The young
and-
girl
yeah.
came in first,
Yeah.
didn't she? I think.
Yeah,
And
there's a
then-
young couple basically.
And then she brought her partner.
Yeah, and it's been like we've always been lovely with them. They've always been lovely with us. They, always like enjoy looking around the shop, talking. They've bought stuff from us as well, and it got to the point where like they've now gotten to the point where they've literally just got out of, just from talking, etc. The other day they came in and they literally gave us a couple of things for free that they had around the house. And it wasn't just any old stuff. It was okay. It was like they had like a few loose Funko Pop figures that they had on display. They gave them to us, and then they gave us a Game Boy, like an original Game Boy. They just gave it to us, and they didn't want any money for it. Like I was like, wow. I still gave them some because I couldn't.
We did.
I was like,
'cause
look.
It felt.
But the funny thing is, then they came in the next day and they bought some.
and they bought something anyway.
But that is amazing.
But it just felt.
Yeah.
It felt wrong to kind of
Yeah.
just like give
like
them
an
no money
original
for it,
and
so.
working. It's
Yeah.
not perfect order. Like I think the screen is a bit to the right. Like the screen isn't centered, but the
Yeah.
screen is good condition. It works. You can happily play any game on it, but the screen's just not fully centered on the screen for whatever reason. But literally an old school original, fat Game Boy. Just gave it to us. I mean, like they didn't need to do that.
No. No, it was really nice. Of
It was
them.
really lovely of them, and you. It's amazing that you can nurture that kind of like like a really nice friendship in a way.
Yeah.
And it, it's not the only thing. Like you can the more you offer that kind of service, I think the more you get that, because we have had other people say, "Oh, we've got stuff," and you're more than welcome to it and stuff, and or just even if they were just to give you the option or opportunity to buy their stuff, that's a great thing, and that's only going to happen if they feel comfortable with you, if they trust you, etc. So yeah, I think so. A good attitude and being able to talk with one another is a plus. When do you ever hear someone say they supported a rude person says something that's fake? It's very true. When you over talk to customers, says Glock fan. Hey Glock fan, by the way, they think you are suspicious that they are stealing over here anyway. It can happen.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, our shop is so small that if we don't like talk to the customers, it's just awkward.
Yeah.
It's just so awkward. It's like, it can be, can't it? It's much better to kind of get into a conversation, even if it's just like about TV show that you're watching.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's more about just conversation, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
not. You're not. Not every word coming out of your mouth should just be at closing sales.
Yeah,
It's not about that. It's about. I don't want to hard sell anyone, because that is going to if you hard sell someone, i.e. if you sell someone something that they didn't want to be sold, but you've kind of hard sold them into it, or you've been pushy, all you've done is lose yourself a customer, because when that customer goes home, they're going to feel, hold on, I didn't like that. Like, they're going to get to gather themselves and they're going to be like, I did not enjoy that experience. I would much rather someone not buy from us, but become a long-term customer.
Yeah.
And I think you've got to have that attitude. That's why whenever we talk to people,
I mean, we've got a few people that come in and they enjoy having a bit of a chat with us, and then
we never pressure someone.
Sometimes they'll buy something, sometimes they don't.
No.
And you know what?
We never pressure people.
No.
We're never like, oh, if you buy that, I'll do you a deal or something. Like, if they've touched it, you should never want to do anything like that. Of course, that would be like the worst thing you can do.
But it is. It is. It can be awkward.
Barry says, I always find in any shop, if I'm just looking, I'm swamped with assistance. But if I want to buy something, I can't find assistance for love of money. It can feel like that, can't it, Barry? Luckily in our shop, like I said, because we're so tiny, we're always there, aren't we?
We are.
So, it's not.
Always there.
But yeah, it's really it's a whole other world. And then when we talk about it, it's kind of, it really is, it makes you realize how many different hats we've got on, because that's one side of it. Then the other side is like the selling side, but online, really, like promoting our website. Like, we've really got to work on that to promote it, because no one's going to shop with us unless we promote ourselves. So then you find yourself doing your TikToks and all that kind of stuff. You've got to do all these different, Facebook posts, and it's a whole bunch of stuff. When my son had a store, we always asked people if they would like to see us carrying anything they don't see, whether we could get it or not. Good market research if you hear the same thing. Very true. We often ask people, like, what kind of things are you into? What would you like to see in the shop? Like, we often,
we do say
when the time is right.
Like, depending on if we can get it in, we try and get it in. It's good because we do have a few things that do come up from time to time. Doctor Who being one of them. Some people do say Doctor Who stuff quite a lot. Yeah.
Barry says, I've got a picture of Zaheer's Auntie Wainwright from the last of the Samurai. Sorry about that, Yon. Who's Auntie Wainwright? Why do I never watched Last of the Summer Wine. Okay. Is she a shopkeeper at Auntie Wainwright's kitchen? Okay. I've not seen. Well, so yeah, it's that's pretty much what's been what we've been up to.
This week,
yeah, some pretty cool.
It's better than last week. Woo-hoo.
I should have shown you guys the haul. I'm picking up some really cool stuff.
Why don't you do a video on it tomorrow?
Maybe, yeah. Maybe I'll do a video. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, maybe you should do a video.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. We will hopefully improve these chats, guys. I know today has been average.
I think it's been okay.
It's been okay.
I think I prefer coming
C
on
plus
here
or B minus?
when we've got a bit more of an outline of what we're doing.
Well, give us a grade. C plus, B minus, I reckon.
I don't want a grade.
Give us a grade. What did you think?
I don't want a grade.
No, because we want to improve it. Give us some improvements. Like what segments would you like to see in the live stream? What kind of segments would be good? Like, what would you like? What would you like?
Barry Francis said she would sell anybody anything,
even if they only went in for direction. Oh, right, okay. Doctor Who is making a major surge here for some reason, says Glock there.
Yeah, it's one thing that we probably don't stock enough of, if we're honest.
Okay. Yeah.
We've had a few people.
We do.
And Star Trek as well.
Yeah, we probably need more. The other thing is we've run out of Stranger Things stuff completely.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God,
We bought Stranger Things.
But we need more now. We need more.
Yeah. And it just depends on if we can get some through the wholesalers now at the moment, doesn't it? So.
Secret Carper says A+ in my opinion. That's very kind of you, Secret Carper. Very kind of you. We're always looking for ways to improve, though. We'll be more organised. I think we want to do I think random is good. Don't go out your way to do much different STKs. It's more just having it so we've got like a flow.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is,
we'd like to do like what we picked up, what we sold.
Previously,
stuff that
when
happened.
we did plan these, this was like, it was probably a while back, because towards the end we didn't really end up planning any of them really, but we used to have like a set outline of how we wanted to go.
We never stuck
to it,
but having it was comfortable.
Having it there was actually really comfortable, because like if you did feel like you were getting like stuck a little bit, it was like
we could put little post-its up and things,
but to be quite honest, I think it's just like us overthinking it, really.
Do you think?
Because we've had a bit of a break from the live chats, and we're
feeling
still
vulnerable.
Feeling a little bit like
vulnerable.
This is a bit strange.
Do people really want to see? Do people want to see this? Do you know what I mean? Like, what is? There's nothing to see here.
So what is this?
Any chance of Z doing the live in his knickers? No, Glock 30. No. B- says Jason. Could try harder, lol. Only joking. That's a flashback to my school days. A food segment seems inevitable. See, Michelle, that
See,
sounds good.
That sounds like a good.
Yeah?
And that's always a good one.
We've been eating
Do
some
you know
good
what?
food, man.
Like food is like.
That's our thing at the
Oh.
moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
We love the food.
Yeah.
Beck has been on this rampage
Like I'm cooking like a lot.
a lot, yeah. And I'm
Like,
not
so
even
much.
asking her to, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
bring it on, you know.
But I'm like I love cooking. I do. Well, I've been enjoying it recently anyway.
Yeah.
And then like I've been making some really good meals. Well,
Some
I
good-
feel like I've been
Oh
making
no,
some
them
really good
some
meals.
good meals, some good meals. Yeah,
And
maybe
I'm like, we were sitting there like, oh, this is good eating.
it's good eating. Yeah, it's good eating. Barry says that's the next.
You should do it.
I'd run out of breath, man. I ain't running up the hills. Has good potential, could try harder, always looking out the window. Oh, that was my school report. Don't change anything at the moment. An hour has gone in a breath. Love you guys. Oh, thank you, Monkey Thrift. Really appreciate it. Lee says, fix it. We're saying, bring back the graphs. Bring back the graphs.
Oh, do you know what?
We'll think about
we'll
it.
think about it.
We'll think about the
see.
graphs.
We'll see. I
Yeah.
know graphs good, isn't it?
The thing with graphs is it was so like, you know, like what does it mean?
It means nothing.
That's the
really,
thing,
let's
you
be
know.
honest.
That's the thing, you know.
Yeah.
It's but we could.
We
could bring back
I'll
some
tell you
kind of
what,
graph.
We could
Some kind.
could create a graph.
Yeah, of some kind. We could do
Do you
some
know
kind
what?
of graph.
We were doing one thing we were doing, like we were monitoring, like this was a while back, like our strike rate in the shop, how
Yeah.
many customers came in
Yeah.
compared to how many
Yeah.
purchased, and
Yeah.
obviously like, and it was a good way to kind of assess which days were like busier than others, and that's initially why we started it, wasn't it? It was like we wanted to see what the footfall was like compared to different days and things like that. And that would make quite an interesting graph.
It would, wouldn't it? It would. Yeah, that would actually. Rate my takeaway, says Rich by name. The Tat Doctor says, I think you should dye your hair more grey and white and you could dress as Gandalf for the shop. Imagine the advertising. Thanks for that, Ian. Appreciate Gandalf the Grey, that would be awesome. Where's the star of the show? Alf. Alf is...
He's behind us.
yeah, he's like... There he is. He's sitting, he sits on that chair.
Mm-hmm.
He's sitting on the chair. Well, we can tell Bex likes cooking. Zaheer has had to buy a new widescreen lens for his... Yes, it is a very wide angle we are on. 100%. It makes me look thinner, though. Imagine...
Whatever, man.
No, I missed the RC parts.
Oh, we don't even have them anymore.
Oh, gosh. I've got it. Get Shazad on here live. Instantly 5,000 watches. Well, guys... Thank you again so much. Over 50 people popped in, which is astonishing. We're not gonna like change things. You know what I mean? Like big changes.
No.
Like I think what we're saying is more just for you may not even see a difference. It will all be under the under the surface. You know, like behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes. Yeah. You know, like more for us. So we have like a little list. Live listing sessions for me, says Mandy. You know what, Mandy? More random lives. What do you think of random lives, like late night lives where I used to just go live and eat crisps and stuff? I don't know. Is there a demand for that kind of content? What do we do?
Let me do some late night lives where I eat some crisps.
Yeah, well, I've spliced me eating crisps into a video before.
Yeah, and a cookie.
And a cookie, yeah. That was my thing. I wanted to just splice in me.
Well, you just ate a cookie.
Yeah, it's just like I want to just do that. But yeah. Or you can do some plants in the conservatory and do a gardening segment. Are you car booting us, Jason? Hell yeah, Jason. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Morning, Dawn, Sherry, Paul, thank you for being. Tommy says, great as usual, made pressure washing the house made way more fun. I'm glad we could help, Tommy. I'm glad we could help. No, there's no more crotch cam.
No.
No.
There's no.
Right, guys. Thank you so much. Whatnot auctions. I would love to do Whatnot double decker couch. I would love to do Whatnot. I think it's amazing. Don't make too much effort. We will watch whoever gets checked. On that note,
we're gonna go.
late nights? Zina's best in pants eating. That's eerily close to what happens, isn't it?
I hope not.
You've seen me in it. I have to wait for the kids to go to bed, though, because otherwise,